Hello, fellow duelists. This is Shadow of the Moon, and welcome to the last Blackwing deck profile for April of 2025. This is the Pure Blackwing version, which is my personal favorite version of Blackwings. And a big change that I did to this deck is I am no longer using Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. I am actually using Dragoon. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna talk a little bit about the pros and cons of Dragoon. And with that, let's go ahead and get started in the deck profile. So just wanted to say thank you to everybody that has subscribed to my channel. I'm actually on my way to 600 subscribers, and when I hit 600 subscribers, I will be doing a 2-hour long live stream of Master Duel with my Pure Blackwing deck. So I hope that you guys enjoy that and look forward to that as much as I am. It's very excruciating, especially once you get to Platinum and Diamond. That's when it starts really taking off. So without any further ado, let's go ahead then and get into the deck profile. So obviously you've got 3 copies of Simoon, the Poison Wind. Obviously this is standard. Everybody plays this 3 Simoons. Okay. And then you've got 3 Sudris. 3 Sudris is pretty standard as well. Always have to have the 3 Sudris. This is a great combo. This is a 1-card combo as well, starter. You got 3 Vadas. 3 Vadas is also a very good card, and in my opinion, very worthwhile. It's a way to get Blackwing Dragon into the special summon it and get it into the graveyard. And then 2 copies of Shamal. So Shamal, you only need 2. If you want 3, you can have 3 in the deck. I only prefer 2 because 2 seems to work for me. And then you've got the one-ofs, which is a lot. You've got Zonda, Kunai the Drizzle, Zephyros the Elite, beautiful quarter-century secret rare. Definitely happy I got this. Gale the Whirlwind, quarter-century secret rare. Hammerton, which is a common, and I wish it wasn't a common, because that's what sucks, because the fact that it's a common, and it shouldn't be. And then Sharanga, which is perfect for popping your opponent's cards face up that are on the field. And then lastly, you've got Chinook, which is the last Blackwing. And then the honorary Blackwing card is Assault Synchron, quarter-century secret rare as well. So I tried to bling out this deck as much as I can, since this is the main deck. Alright, so that's going to be it for the monsters. Now we're going to move on to the spells and traps. You've got 2 copies of Black Whirlwind, QCR, and 1 copy of Black Feather Whirlwind. That's really all you need. If you wanted to have 2 and 2, 2 Black Whirlwinds, 2 Black Feather Whirlwinds, that is an option that you can definitely do. Or if you even want to bump it up to 3, that is totally up to you. I choose to have 2 and then 1 because those seems to be the best ratio, just in, in my build. And then 3 copies of Small World, QCR. Small World is a great bridge using Assault Synchron and a Blackwing monster or a Bestial to go into a 1-card starter, which is perfect. That's why we actually do still use it. And then Pot of Prosperity, QCR. So Pot of Prosperity is good to be able to dig into your deck and either get 3 to 6 cards on the top of your deck and choose which one you want at the cost of banishing cards face down from your extra deck, which is perfectly fine in my opinion. Alright, so that's going to be it for the spells. Let's move on to the trap, and we've got the 1 Twin Shadow. I chose to put Twin Shadow back in here because I noticed in the Dragoon build, Twin Shadow is a little bit more valuable. Plus, I do like using Twin Shadow, so I wanted to be able to include it in the build. This is a very good card. It's slept on a lot of times, and a lot of Blackwing players have kind of left this behind. But if you're more of a pure Blackwing player, this card is a must. Next to Blackbird Close, of course. Alright, so now we move on to the hand traps, and there's quite a bit of hand traps in here, which is why I like being able to play the pure variant, because you can play hand traps. So you've got 3 Ash, 3 Droll, 3 Imperm, and 3, you got Magnahut, Brawl Drake, and Druid Swarm, and then 1 Call by the Grave and 1 Triple Tactics Talent. So these are the trap cards, so this is a total of 14 different interruptions or hand traps. And then with Chinook, you've got 15. So, alright. I did have a viewer actually say that these are considered, this is considered a Bestial Blackwing deck. If you're running and using these as extenders, this is not a Bestial Blackwing deck. Bestial Blackwing deck, in my opinion, is either having more Bestials or having at the very least, these 3, Lubellion and the Branded Regained spell card. That considers as more of a Bestial Blackwing deck. If you're using 3 random Bestials, this is more in here for extenders and to be able to help with your plays, not Bestials. So to that person that did say that, sorry, don't know what else to tell you. This is just more of a pure build. This Bestials are used as more extenders. They're not Bestial Blackwing. Alright, so now let's move on to the extra deck. So the extra deck is going to be two Assault Synchron, or two Blackwing, not Assault Synchron, two Blackwing Assault Dragons. This is mandatory. I actually do have a third one in the side deck because I'm choosing to play my favorite card. So you got two Collector's Rare Blackwing Dragon, very, very nice. You've got one Full Armor Master right here, and then obviously I'm running the Armor Master. I have the third one in the side deck, so you can definitely choose to swap that out or just use a third one. I'm just using this one because I like having my Armor Master in the deck, even if you know, he's not as valuable. I still like being able to have him in here. So, and then for the other ones, you've got Notham the Starlight, and you got Boreas Storm the Wicked Wind. These are all standard in Blackwing decks. So this, you know, and then we're gonna move on to the non-Blackwing engine cards. So we're gonna go ahead. Bestial Dispatcher, Chaos Angel, and Draco Berserker. So these are going to be your non-Blackwing Synchro monsters. And then for the other ones, we're playing Muddy Mudragon, and we're playing Dragoon. And Dragoon, honestly, is a very, very good card because it cannot be targeted, and it cannot be destroyed by card effects. So if your opponent Raigekis or tries to play Dark Hole, they're unable to destroy him. Also, he has that nifty Omni-Negating effect, and when you discard a card, buffs him up to 4,000 and makes it a little bit more difficult for him to go over. Whereas with Archfiend Abyss was a one monster negate, didn't really have much protection, and yeah, you could use him because he was a synchro, so it was more of a synchro build, but at the end of the day, Dragoon seems to be a little bit better of a fit. And then lastly, we have the Y-Strix, and we have the SP Little Knight, which are standard. If your opponent negates Sudri, you can go into Y-Strix with Sudri and another monster. If you have Hammerton in your hand, and then you can go into a level 6 Notham, you can use Shamal's effect to bring Sudri back, and then Sudri can be normal summoned again, so it kind of doesn't really matter if they negate it as long as you have the certain cards in your hand. So now we're going to move on to the extra deck. So the extra deck's a little spicy. You've got 3 Chaos Hunters for the Malice, and you got 2 or 3 Artifact Lancia for the Malice matchup, which Malice definitely in the upcoming format is going to be a lot more powerful because they're going to be releasing new Malice cards and Alliance Insight. So this is a very, 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 you know, good standard thing to be able to have Chaos Hunter and Artifact Lancia to be able to kind of counteract it and make sure that, you know, cards can't be banished and everything. And then for the other ones, we've got Mulch Army. I'm still trying to get a third Mulch Army folio, so this is a placeholder in the case since I don't have it, but I do have 2 Mulch Armies. One which I did pull from a pack, and one I did actually pull from a pack as well. I got one from the, one from the booster, and then one from the pack. So, and then we've got 2 Nibiru's. You just need 2 Nibiru's, honestly, in my opinion. You don't really need any more than that. I do run a 3rd Bestial, or a 4th Bestial, another Baldrake, in case I want to swap out my Triple Tactics Town or my Call by the Grave for something if I'm playing against somebody who uses like Blue Eyes, or someone who's using like more cards that rely on light and dark monsters, like Fiendsmith. And then we're playing the Nobleman of Crossout, which is at 1, unfortunately. I told you I am playing the 1 Blackwing Assault Dragon. I'm playing the 3rd one in the deck. And then lastly, I'm actually playing the Blackbird Close, which is a good trap card to be able to stop your opponent from doing anything because you tribute a Blackwing monster to negate and destroy that monster's effect. And then you special summon a Blackwing Dragon from the extra deck. So it's actually pretty valuable. Alright, so that's going to be it for this deck profile. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. It took me really a long time. I actually was kind of, you know, very saddened because I was having a hard time figuring out exactly how I wanted to go through this build, because I knew that Abyss wasn't as valuable as it used to be, and I realized that it had some issues, but I wanted to keep playing my Pure Blackwings, so I essentially finally left on having Red Eyes Dragoon, because Red Eyes Dragoon honestly is a very, very good card to have in this deck, and actually can have some really good boards. But all in all, you know, if I had it my way, I would probably still run the Abyss. I just realized that Abyss is slower. It's a lot slower of a card and everything. Plus, if you're playing against people, it's, you know, easy to kind of get over. But honestly, I do swap out my Armor Master with a 3rd Assault Dragon, because a 3rd Assault Dragon is a lot more valuable in this deck and a lot more valuable in the build. But oh yeah, didn't even ever get to show anybody, in case you ever wanted. I'm using the Blackwing Dragon sleeves, but I'm also using the border sleeves, which is the samurai ones. I don't know if I ever showed those off before. I always thought that was kind of cool. Alright, so that's going to be it for this deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm on my road to 600 subscribers. I cannot believe I actually am going to be getting there soon. I just want to say thank all of you so much for allowing me to get to 600, always watching my videos, subscribing to my channel. It means a lot to me that all of you actually always do that, and I do thank you always from the bottom of my heart. I always do appreciate it, because without you guys, I would not be very entertaining. I'd just be a guy behind a camera doing this all by himself without any, rhyme or reason. So I do always appreciate it. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Later.